Captain Logan, and welcome once again to Interviewing Geeks Not Nerds, the show where we interview geeks, but we don't interview nerds. Vince is with us today. He is a geek, but not a nerd.
Too true.
Hi, Vince. Thanks for coming on the program again.
Oh, thanks for having me, Cap.
It's been a long time. Now, Vince has been on 2 or 3 times, but we've got him on again, and we're going to try to come up with questions to ask you that we haven't asked you before, Vince. But thanks for being on. I've had lots of repeat requests to have you back on the show. So.
Oh, I'm flattered. I'm glad to see you guys actually, care to have me on the show once in a while.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. Now, most recently, people have known you for your weather reports on Channel 28, and I was wondering if you would talk a little bit about how you got that job and how you, because they already have a weatherman. For those of you that don't know, Channel 28 has a regular weatherman, and then they have the supernatural weatherman, which is Vince. And Vince, would you talk about a little bit about supernatural weather and how you got into that field?
Oh, well, you see, I think the thing that really got me into that field was this catapult that my friends and I made. And it wasn't supposed to happen, but apparently when you cut the cord while you're holding on to the catapult, it launches you in to the tornado made out of hamburgers. So I was in the hamburger tornado. Actually, I think that's be the way that you would say that, the hamburger tornado. And when I got to the middle of it, there was the god of food. And the god of food said to me, I hate my life. I really hate hamburgers. I just want some kale. Could you get me some kale? Everybody wants crappy food in this country. And I said maybe we should have you onto the Weather Channel, and maybe you could set me down without killing me. And he said, that's a terrific idea. So on Channel 28, they brought me on and said, Vince, can you get us this? And I said, yes, I can. You will have an interview with the god of food. And I think it was the
That's
first.
Amazing.
I think it was the first interview with a god on national television.
Now, is it true that gods are always responsible for supernatural weather? Because I've heard it different ways.
Sometimes the weather is responsible for weather, but he's really mean. Weather, that guy, and he also gets angry when people spell his name wrong. He says it doesn't have 2 H's, it's 1 H. And I said, okay, weather, cool your jets. And he said, I will start a storm in this mother. And I said, weather, you are not going to create an X-Men right now. And he said, fine. And then the god of food showed up and said, you need some help? Because I can totally get you out of here. And he said, get out of here, you're taking my shtick. But supernatural weather is a fascinating phenomenon, especially lightning bolts from infants' eyes. It's really surprising when there's like infant lightning bolt storms.
Well, that happens more often than people realize, right?
It's because all it takes is that one bolt to just launch them into the sky. Parents, don't face your kids face down, because that one bolt, you would rather have a ruined ceiling than a kid that's in the sky shooting lightning bolts down at the ground, because it gets to be a big disaster.
Yeah, I think that happened to my uncle, and I think his state is gone. His entire state is gone.
Oh man, that's why nobody ever talks about the state of Shingawa anymore. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, it was really weird the day that we had to drop back to 50 stars on the flag. Well, Vince, I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of your other endeavors, and by the way, I wanted to thank you on behalf of everybody for talking to the god of food and finally being the first person who got to do that, because I got to tell you, I got a little tired of hamburgers after a while. I mean, I enjoy hamburgers, but after a while,
the god of food is thinking about bringing back Crystal Pepsi. That's all I'm saying.
Really?
It's not fact yet. He's thinking about it. We might get that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of your other endeavors. Now, I know that this has been taking up a lot of your time now, but are you still recording? And have you switched away from heavy honky tonk, or are you still kind of in that mode right now? What kind of music do you find yourself creating?
Well, the honky tonk, I think, is a valid and interesting, and just it has a certain soul to it that you cannot take apart from the country. But I tell you what, I am in some legal battles with the honky tonk man. And
who is the honky tonk man?
The honky tonk man, the originator of honky tonk, is really he's a pretty agitated guy. And Dwight Yoakam and Oh, I forget the gentleman's name. But Dwight Yoakam is still in debates with this, and Dwight Yoakam has my back on this one. He says, a honky-tonk man, it does not matter if somebody is singing honky-tonk. And honky-tonk man said, well, they just can't seem to stop. And
wow, weird.
And so we're tied up in those legal battles right now.
Okay. So have you considered kind of switching to some other forms of music? Because I mean, you've always been known as a pretty versatile artist, and I know that your last album went platinum. I mean, like the kind of fame you have right now is remarkable. I mean, you got to talk to the god of food. Your last album, hockey shorts. When I don't know, like what were you thinking when because I can't say it with a straight face. Like what were you thinking when you titled your last album Hockey Shorts?
Well, I think Hockey Shorts can really speak to every person, because it's singing about, or it's really telling the story of the pain that you have when you get hit in the shins with hockey pucks. It's awful, and it's like having no protection.
We all remember this happening to us at one point or another, right?
Everybody understands pain, and there's no pain like having no protection between your shin and a hockey puck.
Well, do you have a new album coming out?
There is a new album. I have something in the works right now.
All right.
And we're kicking around a couple different genres. We're trying to have a funk metal infusion, and we're calling it the Death Funk Rock. And there's a little bit of death, and there's a little bit of funk, and somebody got stoned to death, which I'm not sure we can really say stone and rock are the same thing, but there is death by rock or stone. So we don't.
So it wasn't an overdose getting stoned. It was they were stoned.
Yes, they were stoned by stones from people throwing stones. Incidentally, they're made out of stone, which was a rock stone weather big phenomenon, so everything just came back full circle.
Wow, yeah. And I remember reading something about the people doing that being inside of a glass house at the time.
Yes, indeed.
Which was really kind of...
stone people live in glass houses, as a matter of fact, and you have to be really careful near the epicenter of a rock storm, because there is a glass house and there are shards of flying glass. So if you manage to get to the inside without being pummeled to death by stones and rocks, there is a glass house in the middle.
Well, Vince, I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but I think I would be remiss to not ask you this. I know the audience is probably really hoping to hear something from your new album, and I was just wondering if you would be willing to give us just a snippet of something. I know we don't have a full band here or anything, but could you just sing us a line from maybe the title song off the new album?
Well, you see, the trouble with that is that most of it is just grunts and awful white noise, and we really feel like it's coming from the soul. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's something like, and after you sing it, you're going to be deaf for about 4 days, because for some reason, when you sing, your auditory just shuts down.
Okay, well, thanks, because I don't think that I could do my show tomorrow if I had to listen to too much of that. So maybe it's for the best that we don't go too far in there. Well, Vince, people don't know. I know you and I talked about this at other points that we've done shows together, but not everybody knows it. Can you talk a little bit about your past, about what got you into your music in the first place, and can you talk especially about the rocket ship incident, because that I know that's generally considered to be the most significant thing that really spiraled your career the way it went. So can you just briefly talk a little bit about the rocket ship incident?
Well, back it's a little tough. Back when I changed my name. My name used to be Elton. So back when I was still being Elton.
Wait, Elton Haskins or Elton?
Well, I'd rather not go there. But
all right. Fair enough.
I was Elton at one point, and the rocket, it blows up in your face, and inevitably they'll make a movie out of my trip to Mars, and then they have everybody cast wrong. But really what happened is we blew up on Mars, and we couldn't make it back. Not with that rocket ship anyway, but you would be surprised what you can do with a giant rubber band and a slingshot and the help from the god of food, because inevitably people on Mars would be hungry, and it pulls you back to Earth. So that's really where I launched in my career, is post the god of food, and I really think that the starvation that you feel between, because it's a long ways from Earth to Mars.
Yeah, sure.
And the starvation of space
Most of us have only been the one time, but yeah.
Not to mention the holding your breath all the way between the two. It's really tough on your respiratory system.
So how did you get? Because I know that you were on one of the first commercial flights to Mars. Wait, how did you get into the space program? I mean, it's amazing that you wear so many different hats. You got the space program, and you got and you've got your musical career and weather. I mean, like how did all that how did that happen? How did you start off as an astronaut of all things?
Well, there's a rigorous testing program that you have to go through. It's very tough. First of all, what they do is they test your buoyancy. So they shove you all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and see how long it takes you to float up. Incidentally, that's also how they test to see if you will be okay holding your breath. Wow,
that sounds like quite the endurance test.
Oh, yeah. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. And then there's a written exam to see how much you know about Fozzie Bear, which I knew surprisingly much. I didn't realize.
What does that have to do with going to Mars?
Fozzie Bear is one of the instructors.
Really?
Fozzie Bear tells you exactly what you need to know for how to don all of the... And you would be surprised how many hats or how many helmets they have designed to fit hats in, considering Fozzie Bear wears a hat. Sometimes he wears one of those fake noses with the funny eyebrows. And
that's why there's that famous picture of you with your trademark hat with the helmet on, right?
We also have one where we're wearing the noses on the outside, and Fozzie Bear is throwing the devil horns, which I was very pleased by, considering he doesn't have particularly many fingers.
Yeah, I remember that, and I know that's one of the rarest prints.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get a hold of. But Fozzie Bear, once you get to know him, he's really kind of mean.
Really?
He's pretty mean, and I really didn't want to take those pictures.
Was he a good instructor, though?
Oh, I'd say he's very intelligent. He knows quite a lot about the space program, but he will break your fingers if you get too close for him. Considering he only has the 4 out of the 5, I believe, anyway, he will break one.
So would you recommend I have him on the show, or
I would say,
would you say is he too much of a nerd to be on the show? Like,
I would say that he's too much of a live bear to have on your show.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, Vince, thanks again for being on. I hope you had a good time.
Thanks for having me.
We always really appreciate it. I don't know how you do everything you do, and how you have enough time during an average 27-hour day. But it's amazing that you do what you do. So
yeah, since they took those extra 7 hours out, I wasn't sure I'd be able to fit it all in. But really, I'm doing pretty well at the moment.
That's great. Well, hey everybody, thanks a lot for watching once again. We sure appreciate it. We'll have another really interesting guest for you next week, and yeah, I'm not even going to tell you who it is, mostly because I can't pronounce his name. So anyway, thanks a lot for joining us. And Vince, I hope you'll come back again sometime down the road.
Oh, indeed. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm Captain Logan. Thanks again. See you next time.